Hi everyone, it's Kim at Good Vibe Astrology, and today we're going to learn about parallels and contra-parallels of declination. And you can start to apply them to your chart and to your deliberate creation practice, because this is a powerful indicator in the chart that we haven't really talked about yet. Okay, declination is the distance of a planet or point north or south of the celestial equator. Now let's just break that down so we can understand what it means. Think in terms of latitude and longitude. If we look at a picture of our planet and we want to find a particular city or a place on that planet, we're going to find it as if plotting on a graph. We're going to look at the north to south longitudinal lines and line them up with the east to west latitude lines and come up with a particular point. This is the exact same thing that we do in astrology. The longitudinal lines represents the degree of the zodiac, and the latitude lines represent the declination, north or south of the equator. The difference is, in the solar system, when we're looking at where the planets are, it's not the Earth's equator, but the celestial equator. Let me show you this picture. Here we have an image of the Earth, and then extrapolated out the celestial equator and how the idea of these longitudinal lines and latitude lines work. For example, here's the 42nd degree of latitude on the Earth, and we can extrapolate that out into the sky up here. Now, on this 42nd line, this latitude line, any planet found along this line is going to be parallel of declination. If a planet down here was at the south 42nd line and a planet up here on the north, they would be called contra-parallel. So let's take Mars here on this longitudinal line and just say he's at 15 degrees of Taurus. Now, any planet on this longitudinal line is going to be 15 degrees of Taurus. And this is why planets can be conjunct. We would call them conjunct. They're both at 15 degrees. But let's say here's the sun down here at a much lower latitude line. We still would call it conjunct, but they're not parallel, okay? They don't have the same declination. When a planet has the same longitude line and latitude line of another, it's like a double whammy. You're not only parallel or contra-parallel, but conjunct by latitude as well. And this is an empowering position. So when planets are parallel, they augment the connection between the two planets, or the planets and the points. When you create your chart at astro.com, in the upper left-hand corner, there's going to be a link that says Additional Tables in PDF. You're going to want to click that. You click on the additional tables, and I don't, because they're down, I don't have an example of that exactly right here, but I can show you what we're actually looking at. It's going to be a grid like this with the planets. I think it actually lists out the names, and it's going to have the longitude, and we come across and we find the declination. The declination in this case of the sun is 20 degrees north 35. Now, if we want to find some spot on conjunction here to really demonstrate how parallels can create connections that we don't automatically see, in this case, notice Mercury has a declination of 25 degrees north. Okay, and Mars has a declination of 25 degrees south 20. So again, north and south, so we would call these contra-parallel. This is a very strong connection between Mercury and Mars that we would not see if we were only looking at the longitude. Another way to find the declination is go to the ephemeris and type in the planets that you're looking for, and right here you're going to tick Show Declination. And as you show declination, next to, for example, Jupiter, which is today at 27 degrees of Cancer, has a declination of 2058. Now, if we want to think about declination in terms of transits, that 20 degrees, if we go back to the natal, we remember the sun here at 2 Gemini has a 20-degree north 35 declination, and that means that Jupiter is going to be parallel the sun for the next couple of weeks. We can see here that the north declination, the north latitude declination, has no indication, and the south is the minus. Minus means south. At astro.com they use N and S to let us know if it's north or south. So what you can do now is go to astro.com or your favorite astrological software and find out where all your planets are in terms of declination. If you see any declination larger, whether north or south, larger than 23 degrees 28, it's considered out of bounds. Out of bounds. We can see an example of out of bounds here in the ephemeris. I pulled up Eros because asteroids tend to go out of bounds because their orbits are so wild. They get way, way up north and way, way down south. Here we have Eros at 34 degrees south declination. And there is a double emphasis on what that planet represents, and it makes it eccentric, it makes it wilder, it makes it more potent. It's something to really watch for. And if you have personal planets out of bounds in your chart, that's quite interesting, especially the moon, because whatever we have out of bounds, think more of, more extreme, and it takes that energy to a stronger degree. All right. If you have any questions about parallels or contra-parallels or the idea of declination, bring them to the forum. You can post them on the free forum at Good Vibe Astrology, or if you're in the inner circle, we'll be talking about this. And we'll have a specific thread in the IC to discuss your declinations and what they mean to you in your deliberate creation. All right, that's it for today. Bye.